Takes every opportunity to rip live golf, which is going away as we know. But he also carries that over to some of the golfers on the Live Tour, all the golfers on the Live Tour. But it's still, it is rare that you hear somebody on a broadcast. Outside of it on a podcast is one thing. On an actual broadcast, talking about the Open and how it's coming up here, it's rare to hear somebody rip into somebody at that point. Here it is. If you didn't see it, Brandel Chambly, if I can say his name. I don't know why I'm stumbling. Hear about Bryson DeChambeau.
One of the biggest surprises of the year, though, Bryson DeChambeau. You know, it's almost like he went from chasing Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy to chasing Grant Horvat. It's like he wants to outdo every YouTuber in the game of golf instead of outplay everybody in the game of golf.
I don't know if he's wrong, but it's rare you hear that type of biting number there on a guy. Bryson just seems like, I got new 3D irons. It's like he's competing with everybody but the people that he's out there, on the PGA Tour with. It's rare you hear that type of biting remarks on the deal. Now, like I said, Chambly's not a fan of Live Golf. Take that into consideration here with this as well. But it is fascinating to hear that biting of a remark, from a golf analyst out there. I wonder if he gets talked to for that. Obviously not, right? If he's saying it and it's still there. Obviously he's bypassing it. I would think, right? But you don't hear people talk like that too often. So the Open is tonight, 156th, I think it is. Open. It's something like that here from England. We'll have to see how the weather holds up. I did not check the weather forecast. I'm not a guy that does that. I don't generally bet these tournaments or pay attention to those betting guidelines and things to that effect. So, is what it is. I used to do like top 10 finishes and things like that, but I've gotten away from that over the years and and things. I don't know why. I just have. Sorry folks. I'm finishing up. I'm working on getting this stuff all set up here as well. So there you go, golf talk as well. I apologize. Some production on air today. We're just after that storm the other night. Just things are a little sluggish. Adjusting everything and no difference here today. Today it's my computer that's doing all of that stuff. We'll talk World Cup here coming up as well. I got the college football. Some changes happening with the ACC. We'll talk about that coming up as well there. And then, of course, the All-Star game. No baseball for a couple days. I saw a guy post. Now, you guys know. We have Lou in here on Thursdays. He does the UFC. It's great that Lou does the gambling angle of it. I like listening to him talk about it and that type of stuff. I just bet $5 on stuff. It's just a fun thing I do. Could care less. What happens on that stuff. I don't get an ego about it. I don't get excited about it. I'm not trying to get rich off of gambling. I'm not trying to lose my houses on gambling or anything to that. It's just a small fun thing I like to do. But we also get inside information on stuff. So I'm able to talk to people about it. Right. And, and go down that angle, from the UFC perspective and kind of secrets and stuff like that. That's on Thursdays, right? But it's interesting how yesterday I'm sitting there before the All-Star game last night. And I see a post from somebody. And it says, Home Run Derby had no good numbers to bet. Nothing else is on. All-Star game tonight, nothing to bet on the All-Star game that he saw. He didn't like any of the numbers in the All-Star game. And he goes, other than the World Cup yesterday and today, he goes, there's nothing to bet on. He goes, I don't know how I'm going to be able to handle myself. Does that mean you have a gambling problem? Because I haven't even loaded up my gambling app since Saturday night's UFC event. And I didn't even do it Saturday night. After I placed my bets, I don't even look at it again until Sunday. Sunday or Monday, I'll log in and just see how I ultimately did with everything. I don't know. It just struck me as an interesting. Somebody put that out there, and I was just like, "What are you doing putting that out there, man? Take a deep breath, dude. If you can't live a couple days without that. NBA circles, Kevin Durant. Yeah, he's back in his media fights again, folks. If he concentrated on basketball as much as he does, what people say about him, he would be one hell of a player. Yeah, obviously with the Houston Rockets still, but he's always had that burner issue and stuff. But yeah, now he's done an Instagram post out there. He took shots at, shocker. He took shots at Colin Cowherd, of course, is Fox Sports, and Nick Wright, also Fox Sports. He called him out by name on his Instagram yesterday. He posted a screenshot of a graphic displaying 9 prominent sports analysts, and the caption on there was prompting users to pick one to be removed. In one post, Durant tagged Colin Cowherd. Yeah. He said, pack that lame Colin Cowherd up. He said something else, but he meant to Colin Cowherd there. Yeah. Then in another story, he tagged Jay Wright and said basketball would actually move forward if Nick Wright, I said Jay Wright, Nick Wright, if Nick Wright wasn't involved. Why does he continue to pick these fights with people? He blocks people all the time. Um, he didn't go after Stephen A. Smith, which was on the graphic, which was kind of interesting as well. They've had feuds in the past, Stephen A. and Kevin Durant as well. It's just interesting, going into the season here, how Kevin Durant continues to worry about what people say about him and basketball and that stuff, and he has to take shots on it. I don't know. Just an interesting little nugget that I saw from the Kevin Durant side. And then, Summer League's happening. Suns played a night, I believe, in the Summer League. So we've talked about it yesterday with Bruce Cooper. Pay attention. You watch Brea, who's gotten better as the Summer League's gone on. The number 1 draft pick, by the way, for the Washington team up there. They're shutting him down after 2 games. Yeah. AJ from BYU. Shutting him down after 2 games in the sun. I guess he needs rest. I guess he's been working too hard. But Suns play tonight. I do believe it's tonight, Wednesday night. Pay attention. What's Brea doing? Koa Pete, of course. Melowatch. Do they continue to improve as it goes on? That's really what you're watching the Summer League for, to be honest with you. And see where that goes. So that's tonight. But the other basketball thing I wanted to bring up on the show here, and we'll do it early in the show here as well. I'm sorry, folks, my computer's going so slow today. I don't know what I did to make it angry, but it is ridiculous here how slow it is going. So I apologize, but the story is about the Kawhi Leonard trade and everything. Kawhi Leonard's going back to the Toronto Raptors. And the trade has been developed between them and the Clippers, the Raptors and the Clippers. Then it came out, a week or so ago, that the trade's on hold while their NBA is still investigating that scheme that the Clippers supposedly were doing, right? We're paying Kawhi through entities, companies and failures and stuff like that. We found out that the trade's on hold because they're still investigating that, and the trade can't go through because of that. Adam Silver came out this week, and he said, no. The teams decided to hold up the trade until the investigation's done. No, the NBA said that. Adam Silver's now come out, and Adam Silver has said that, the investigation should be wrapped up before the season starts. How long does it do? Pedro? Not Pedro. Who's the guy that came up with it? I forgot his name right now. He's got the podcast. I can picture him right now. But he was able to do this investigation in less time than the NBA is doing. But that trade's on hold. It needs to be done before the beginning of the season so this trade can go through. But isn't that interesting? Here's what I'm going to bet you as well. I'm going to bet you NBA is going to sweep this under the rug. Maybe a fine for the Clippers. There are owners out there that want heavy sanctions against the Clippers for what they did, because obviously it's not fair to them. And it's going to be interesting. Does he sweep it under the rug a little bit? Maybe a fine for the Clippers or maybe a draft pick loss? for doing that with the Kawhi Leonard deal. Because he did it, folks. They did it. Make no mistake about it. Clippers can deny it left and right. Kawhi Leonard was getting a no-show contract from an outside agency, and it supplemented his income. And then you have all the documentation of before he signed with the Clippers on what they said they wanted. And then the Raptors, which is interesting, he's going back to the Raptors because the Raptors were even like, they were asking us for him to get no-show, contracts with outside agencies and stuff like that. And we said no. And I was going back to that, right? And maybe he's going back to that. NBA, I think they're going to sweep it under the rug a little bit. I think that'd be detrimental to their sport. I really do. But that news is just kind of an awkward story out there as well. And then, and all this is coming out from Adam Silver because he did his state of basketball interviews in Las Vegas. Obviously the summer league's up there and stuff to that. Basically, with the Clippers, it's did they circumvent the salary cap and the apron situation, with that $28 million endorsement deal with that company. I think it was called Aspiron or Aspiration or something to that effect. One of that company. I forget the name of the company. Who cares? They're bankrupt. They were only existed to pay Kawhi Leonard on the side. That's how it worked as well and everything. But Adam Silver did say he's hopeful of a resolution by the end of summer. Yeah. They're letting it quiet down. And then they're going to come out with something silent. That'll be a small blip in the news circles on this. It'll be interesting to see how other owners, because other owners are mad that the Clippers did this as well. Now, there's a law firm that the league hired to conduct the investigation. They say that that law firm has finished the portion of the process, meaning the investigation side of it, talking to people. Now they have to sift through the information it's gathered and then make its conclusions, is what he says they're waiting for as well. So, yeah. Now, when it started, they hired this law firm late in this process. Like, they had to put pressure on the NBA and Adam Silvers to get this even started. Not Pedro Gomez. Oh, my gosh. His name will come to me. I should give him credit for his research here. But the league, they hired them in September, late because the pressure, remember they denied it at first? The league was like, oh, we're not interested in that at all. Then the pressure became enough that they had to look into it, right? But the investigation, since they hired this law firm in September, it's grown. It's gotten bigger. The scope of the investigation has expanded as well for them as well. That's one reason why it takes longer is anytime you get a government agency or somebody with a lot of money investigating you, yeah, they may not find what they're originally investigating for, but are they going to find other things that you're doing? It can expand out quickly. And reports are, the Athletics reporting definitely, that this investigation has expanded on the Clippers and Kawhi and stuff like that. It expanded to the point where this law firm looked into whether the Clippers improperly covered expenses for Kawhi Leonard and not reimbursed for them. So they can spend money on players, like if players are doing something, the team pays for it, and then the players have to reimburse them. And they're saying Kawhi Leonard didn't have to reimburse them, right, as well. Then they examined whether Kawhi Leonard had a previously unreported endorsement deal with another company as well. So there's reports by The Athletic, at least, are that this is expanded into those areas. That's my point. At first, it was just contained to this Aspiron or whatever that company's deal was. Now, are they paying for stuff for Kawhi, expenses for him, and then not getting paid back like they're legally, like the CBA says they have to? That is there a second endorsement deal that they're looking at? I think this is going to be damning on the Clippers and Ballmer. I just do. I just don't have faith that the NBA is going to come down on them hard. They're just going to sweep it under the rug, at least publicly. They're going to do something publicly to kind of like make it look like they're doing something major. But it's going to be kind of like a slap on the hand. Excuse me, folks. My foot was caught on a wire. Yeah. So this is going to be fascinating to see how this plays out. Because you got to keep in mind the other owners. There's other owners that are mad on how the Clippers did this. So Are they going to allow the NBA to kind of wrap it in? Or are they going to go with the whole, this is what we're doing publicly, privately we're doing this? Owners, keep your mouth shut, right? Forward as well. Yeah. So we'll see if that Kawhi Leonard goes through and stuff to that. But I was interested in the expansion of the investigation on this. You know, I mean, the story's changed on June 30th. That's when the Raptors and the Clippers agreed to this trade for Kawhi Leonard to go back to Canada. Clippers said in a statement, quote, that they have, quote, since been informed by the NBA that the trade can only be finalized if the Raptors ownership group assumes the risk of penalties related to Kawhi's contract and could theoretically result from the ongoing investigation. How does that make sense? So you're going to punish the Raptors, who they lost him originally, and he went to the Clippers because of these side deals? So if this trade goes through? Now the NBA said, Adam Silver said, no. The teams decided to hold up on this trade till the investigation's done. Okay, which way is it? We're already seeing the lies happen here in the NBA entities. We're seeing the passing of the buck a little bit. But why, if this trade went through today and Kawhi Leonard was now a Raptor, why would the Toronto Raptors take penalties because Kawhi Leonard? Now, if you're going to suspend Kawhi or punish him, that'll obviously affect the Raptors, right? Absolutely. So maybe that's what they mean. But all the penalties and stuff should be on the Clippers. The Raptors lost Kawhi Leonard because they didn't want to pay him on the side like he wanted and stuff. The Clippers were willing to do it. Does this deal even go through, or does it fall apart based off of what they want out there as well? So I don't know. Interesting battles here going on in the NBA. And it's fascinating to me. Right? The NBA, to me, is the most, if you're going to call it corrupt, they're the most suspectable and most easily manipulated on the gambling markets. Right? You had a referee that was gambling behind the scenes. Several, but only one took the hard hit. The other one's kind of got brushed under the rug a little bit. Right, Scott Foster? You know you took those calls, buddy. There's proof of it. So the referee scandals. Players getting in trouble with throwing games and stuff. Outside poker things where coaches are getting, arrested by the government and things to that effect. Now you got manipulation of the salary caps happening and stuff to that effect. And the NBA is just like the league wears the cautionary tale for the other leagues. Integrity for the NBA is the least integrity. With the refs' calls out there and manipulation of the game on top of it. And the NBA not doing anything about that. It's they sweep this under the rug again and minimize the punishment on the Clippers and or Kawhi. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if Kawhi Leonard was the one that was asking for it, it doesn't hurt to ask. Not his fault the Clippers agreed to pay him on the side and circumvent the cap. Shouldn't the player be punished also for going along with it? I don't know. It's fascinating to me what the NBA status is, especially in this day and age when we're talking about, right, the Sorsby situation. College basketball, college baseball just doesn't, college baseball. College football doesn't want him there anymore because the NBA said no supplemental draft for him, all because of the integrity of the sport based around it. And then the NBA is just like, well, whatever. We're going to do an investigation. It's going to take months to do. We're going to continue to let things happen. It's fascinating, the dichotomy here, what the NBA handles their gambling and cheating of the system. 'Cause that's what the Clippers did. The Clippers treated the system by paying Kawhi Leonard through a company. So it didn't hit their salary cap. That's what they did. So that affects money for other teams also. Right? If you can argue, Steve Ballmer paid it regardless, whether he paid it to that aspiration company or another company, whether he did expenses for Kawhi and didn't get paid back, he still paid the money out that he probably would have paid in a tax. I don't know the one-on-one ratio. The difference is You're doing it out of your own pocket, and it's not being fed per the salary cap rules with the aprons. It's not being fed to the other teams like it's supposed to. So you're hurting your league at that point as well. It's kind of the interesting thing to pay attention to out there. Robert chimes in. Don't forget, join the chats as well on YouTube. Of course, 623-252-6670 is the chat line. Of course, at TME Sports Show on Twitter as well, on X, excuse me. I keep calling it Twitter. I'm never going to stop doing that. On X. Or join the YouTube chat here at TME Media AZ. Robert says, don't think Nick Wright has that much pull, but he can go away or get a haircut. Yeah, he's an ugly son of a gun, ain't he? I can't stand me some Nick Wright. But I'll also say this. Nick Wright, Colin Cowherd, Dale loves Colin Cowherd, and I always give him a hard time about it. They don't do their own research. They have other people do their research. That's why you always have those clips of them saying things that are stupid. My favorite Colin Cowherd one is he went on for a good 20-minute stretch about how like a game was going to go. And he kept mentioning one player. This player is going to dominate tonight. And the guy hadn't played all season. But that's because he didn't know. He doesn't know. He doesn't watch. He has a researcher. He has somebody put together his talking points for him. But they're successful because they're controversial. Stephen A. Smith is successful because he says stupid things and gets everybody riled up. Everybody calls him names. And, he's an idiot. That's why he's successful. Yeah. Ethan says NBA is a crazy company for management. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe the owners are just part of, you want to miss 30% of your games for management and we're going to pay you $60 million a year? Okay. Like, how is that even allowed? Ethan says, not a lot of people call it X. Everyone calls it Twitter still. I know. But it just got to be factually accurate sometimes. I suppose that's what we got to do out there as well. But I don't know. Some NBA thoughts, and I know we're in the middle of the summer league. Suns go tonight. Just pay attention to no disrespect to the other players that are on the court tonight. But Brea, I want to see keep improving. Because if you struggle in the summer league, you're not gonna move up to the next level. Malawat should continue to have a good summer league. Koa Pete should be getting better and continue to have a good summer league. Breyer should be improving his three-point shooting and getting better and things. I did go back and watch the game from Monday night. Me and Bruce talked about it. I didn't get to see that one before. Yeah, Breyer woke up after his first two terrible games out there. But just pay attention to those. Give you hope going into the season. The interesting thing is I was looking at, because Bruce Cooper yesterday, if you missed it, it is up in our interview section on YouTube and also on Rumble. Or you can just catch the whole show as well on those channels. We separate them out into part 1 and part 2 and the whole shows now. So for those of you that are just looking for, you can't listen to the whole 2 hours. I get it. So we have an hour 1 and an hour 2. We just call them part 1, part 2. Posting those now as well. Then there's an interview section where it's just a Bruce Cooper segment on there as well. You have to scroll down to get to the interview section, though, as well. But the interesting thing about what Bruce said was how Koa was going to play behind Oso and things to that effect, right? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if that's going to happen. I was following some people that were kind of predicting lineups and things for the Suns. It'll be interesting to see where he lines up. I think a lot of people, it seemed the consensus, at least that I saw online, and I'm not the expert at this, folks, it's Summer League. We'll see when we get more to training camp, was Koa Pete was going to back up Dylan. More on the Dylan side of things. I saw a lot of predictions where he's going to play out. So we'll see where we go on that. Not that Bruce Cooper's wrong and you shouldn't listen to him. The man knows what he's talking about basketball. But it is interesting to kind of get those thoughts here as we go. So let's take our break here in this first hour. Come on back. We got World Cup, college football. ACC making a change, and I think they need to. They had a 5-way tie last year, if you remember. 5-way tie. And they had a bad team in the thing just because they had the tiebreaker. They're making some changes on that. We'll tell you about that. Then, of course, All-Star game. And set the stage up here. Come on back. Main event, Wednesday edition. And we're talking a little NBA here on the main event. Dale Hellestrae is off this week. He'll be back on Monday, unless he just falls in love with Sedona, wants to stay up there. Then he won't be back. But he'll be back on Monday as well. Don't forget tomorrow, Uncle Lou. We're taking Friday off again. July 31st will be our. That's a Friday. That'll be our first show back. Where we're going to be back on Fridays. We took Fridays off here for the last few weeks, about a month worth is what we ended up doing here for the summer, just to kind of recharge, get some stuff done, and improve some things around here behind the scenes that you're not going to see some of it. You know, we fixed a little bit of a sound issue with my microphone as well, and just stuff like that we've been working on. But July 31st, so this Friday off, next Friday off. I know the Cardinals report next week, but we'll be fine. And then the 31st is when that whole week there. 31st is the Friday, but that whole week we go back to 5 days a week at that point. Get you ready for football season coming up, folks. And a playoff push here for Major League Baseball as well that we're looking at. I did look up as well. We'll get to the comments on YouTube. Robert has an interesting one that I found interesting. We'll talk about that. But I also was looking up, who's shining bright in Vegas for you big basketball fans. SI has an article on this, like Caleb Wilson for the Chicago Bulls is having a good. I haven't watched any Chicago Bulls games. I've had a few games on, like in the background, not paying attention. I've seen a couple Bucks games, but that's because I wanted to see what Burries would do. They played the Suns the other night as well. But Caleb Wilson's having a good summer league with the Bulls for you Bulls fans out there. Malik Thomas with the Cavaliers having a good one as well. 35 points, 5 3-points made, and that's Cleveland. Is Cleveland's second-round pick for them as well. Arthur Kaluma for the Lakers. They say he's having a good one. 34 points in his last game. 5 rebounds, 6 3-pointers made for him out there. Zion Poland, Minnesota Timberwolves. He's that big guy that they drafted, averaging 20 points a game for him out there. Juan Behringer, another one that they're saying is having both Thunder Timberwolves there as well. Chaz Lanier, I think is how you say it. Detroit Pistons. Lanier, I forget. But he's had a good summer league as well. That's it. No Suns listed. Which is weird because Malawatch is having a really good summer league at a minimum. So it's weird the national publications aren't paying attention to that side of it as well. Robert on the YouTube chat says, Pete looks like a Swiss Army knife. When you first read that, I was like, uh-oh, what does that mean? He bends a lot, flexible, disappears when needed. I mean, the screw. Every time I do a screwdriver on the Swiss Army knife, it always folds back in on me. He says, can bring it up. Create, and his shot doesn't look as bad as advertised. But all of his shots are like layups or close to the basket. Where his shot, I know at least in the last 2 games, he hasn't even attempted a 3. The first game, I don't remember. It's his outside shot that is what everybody says is bad, and it's not good. So from basically the key on out is what they're talking about. Those short-range shots, he can create them. But I agree with you. His size, I think, is going to be his advantage. And especially if he plays behind Dillon in this lineup and not in the 4, but more on the Dillon side of things. He's going to get some size advantage against guys during the regular season as well. This Suns team is going to be 15 deep. They could be more than that with some of these two-way players like Kobe Bryant and stuff like that. But they're going to be 15 deep on this rotation. I don't know how Jordan Knott's going to rotate these guys. It's going to be fascinating to see how it turns out. That's also why he makes the big bucks to make those decisions as well. But I think now the question is Koa Pete going to make an impact on this team this year? I think he's going to be limited because of the guys in front of him. Now, injuries could change that, of course, and things to that effect. But again, this is where you develop him this year. Get him into that spot, right? Robert says, 3s are overrated. Suns have enough of those guys. Well, that we know for sure. Oh, no. Coop yesterday said he was going to play behind Miles Bridges. As where he said he's not Oso. I'm sorry. Miles Bridges is what he was going to play behind. And I saw a lot of people when they were doing their, Suns roster, or lineup depth charts. They had him behind Dylan. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where. I saw it also behind Miles Bridges as well. So don't get me wrong. Coop's not wrong on that, but I also saw behind Dylan on the chart as the number 2 coming out. They like him a lot, so we'll have to see what happens when we come to that as well with Koa Pete. So it's interesting on the national perspective with the Suns as well, right? Right there, Sports Illustrated has a list of the hottest people in the Summer League, people you should be paying attention in the Summer League. None of them are out there. Yeah, right. Dabansa, as I told you, being benched now after 2 games by Washington in the Summer League is just going to not be around anymore. They're taking him out of that coming up here. You start to see that with these guys. It always kind of makes me scratch my head. They're young. Let them play. They need the experience against these guys. Yeah, so today, I just looked it up because I knew it was today. I just wasn't sure on the time. 3 p.m. ESPNU, Suns Pistons today from the Thomas and Mack Center. So 3 p.m. It's an early game there as well for that. Yeah. So if you want to catch your Suns and see what they are after the World Cup game, there you go for you here on this Wednesday as well. So enough of that nonsense in the NBA. We covered golf earlier, NBA earlier. What other nonsense sports do we want to talk about? Let's throw out some World Cup stuff today because I need to apologize to everybody up front here. About 5 minutes, probably 4 minutes into that game yesterday, Spain and France. I've told you guys all along, this is the year France is going to do it. They're going to beat Spain. They're going to beat Spain this year. They're the better team than Spain. They're going to be able to get past Spain this year. They're not going to lose to Spain this year. This is the year they get over the hump. I've said it repeatedly for the last several weeks. I was wrong. I realized it about 4 minutes in. And then the penalty kick happened. And I was like, you can't go down 1-0 to Spain. That means you have to score 2 goals to win. Spain doesn't give up goals, folks. I was like, oh, God, France is in trouble. France is in a lot of trouble. And it showed you. The ball control from Spain is ridiculous. I saw a lot of people, including Dave Portnoy, say that game was boring. To me, that was a fascinating game. It was just a game of keep away. It made France got so frustrated. Spain was just passing the ball around. Keep away from Spain. We're not going to let your guys. We're not going to let your guys get out there and get it behind us. We're not going to let France control the ball and move it around. We're going to control the ball and move it around. I thought it was fantastic. Spain looked so impressive yesterday. So I have to change my pick because France is. I've been telling you all along, France is winning this thing. I think France might have the best overall team in this tournament. But the best overall team doesn't always win in these deals. England's going to win today against Argentina. I told you before, to me, this is a toss-up game today. I'm leaning England because they've showed the grit going down to Mexico City, and beating Mexico down there, right? Coming back and rebounding from that is another hard-fought game, after that emotional win down in Mexico City, in Miami, in that heat of Miami over the weekend. England is showing me this year they're gritty. They're tough. They're mentally tough. They're physically tough. England's teams haven't been that way for a lot of years now. They're showing me that toughness. So my gut says not to pick England, folks, because I know they're the soft. Today's the game. England's going to show up and be soft and look like England of old and just all over the place. But I'm going to go with England. I'm going to go against my gut here and say England. Partly also, Argentina hasn't played anybody hard. Doesn't matter. You have Messi on your team, you're going to be good. But they struggled against Cape Verde. They struggled against Egypt. They had to score 3 goals in 15 minutes. England ain't going to let you score 3 goals in 15 minutes. Like Egypt did. They're just not. So I got England advancing. Am I going to be surprised if Argentina wins? I'm more emphatic. I was more confident in yesterday's pick than I am about today's England pick. I am. I'm not confident in England at all. Argentina can win this game. Whereas yesterday, Spain could have won it, but I was like, it's going to be tough for them to do it. And I was wrong. Today, this is a toss-up game. I'm going to lean England side here today as well. Just that grittiness. Argentina can't afford to be down 1. Argentina can't afford to be down 2 in this one. They're not going to be able to come back like you did against Egypt and Cape Verde and stuff to that effect. So I think England's going to advance to the final against Spain. I'll tell you this. I've been picking France all tournament long. To me, they were the best team out there. And I was wrong. Spain is the best complete team out there. The way they play their ball. They were just confident. The way they passed the ball, you put pressure on them, they didn't care. They're just like, oh, here you go. Pass around you, make you run around. France got frustrated in that game because Spain. It's hard to win a game when the other team won't let you have the ball and just plays keep away. I told you yesterday this France-Spain game is the game of the tournament. Ended up being I thought a really good game, but ended up also being kind of a dud because I felt like France, the team they struggle against just beat them. Again, I thought this would be the come-over game for France. But whoever came out of that game yesterday, I told you yesterday, I think it was, that whoever comes out of this game is going to win the tournament. Spain's going to win the World Cup this year. They're the better team. So now it's just a matter of who can get there against them. I'm leaning England today as well. Argentina. Noon, which sucks. I mean, it's good for me. Starts at noon. I got to drive to the dentist office for my daughter's appointment. Sit there for like 45 minutes or so. It's all relative to getting her braces off stuff. Sit there, watch it on my phone. Leave the dentist, got to go back to the orthodontist, sit there, just watch it on my phone. So it's easy for me at noon. But it just sucks because a lot of the country, how do you grow the sport when a lot of the countries at work right now? They're not going to be able to watch it. It's kind of the question that you got out there as well. Coming up here. So England, Argentina today at noon. Hopefully I'm right about this pick. It's also why I don't put my $5 on either of these teams or anything. It's just because I just enjoy watching these games. Like there's sometimes you just sit back and you're like, I just want to watch them. I'm just going to watch them. See what happens. I think this is going to be a good game today, though. It's going to be a close ball game. I think England can't afford to be down in this game. And I think no matter what lead you have, if you're England, isn't safe against Argentina. So that's where that suspense is going to come from today. If England's up 1-0 or 2-0, you're not going to count Argentina out. They showed it against Egypt. Now England's a way better team than Egypt is. But at the same time, if Argentina's up 1, right, the way England's played this year with the grit and everything, they can come back from that, no problem. They go down 2, though. It's a bigger hill to climb for England to come back from a 2-0 lead or more than it is a 2-goal lead or more than it is for Argentina to come back at that point. It's going to be a fun game today, folks. And then, of course, we go into Saturday. We'll talk more about the championship game on Saturday tomorrow as well. But I'll just tell you right now, France was the favorite going into that game yesterday. Spain was I believe, second. Now, Spain obviously is the favorite, no matter what happens today, most likely on that board as well. So there we go. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to it as well. Coming up here. Don't forget, 623-252-6670, our text line. Funny enough, appreciate your watching. I did get a Tori needs to go. I said they got quiet here for the All-Star break. Got that text here today as well already. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Text line at TME Sports Show. Roberts tagged us as well. Says save this for Helly. Oh, I'm going to see what that is. We'll see if we save that. And then, of course, hit us up on the live YouTube chat as well out there anytime. Catch us on demand. We'll give you some more details on that, but on demand on YouTube and on Rumble, where the real Matrix is as well, rumble.com/user/TME media. And of course, on YouTube, where you catch us live as well out there. So let's go. Take our break. Top of the hour break. Come back. Second hour main event. We got All-Star game to talk about, the college football deal. Some odds and ends here on this slow period we're dealing with here in the sports world with the All-Star game. Happens every year, folks. Come on back. It's the main event. We're back here, main event, here on this Wednesday after the All-Star game, and just leads to a little bit of slow time. People on vacation. My daughter starts school on Monday, folks, for high school as well, coming up here as well. So Robert says, he says mapped. He means Mbappe. He came off as very unlikable in the last 10 minutes. Are you talking about his frustration, his flopping, or his falling down? Talking about that stuff? Flopping's not the right word, in my opinion. He was trying to gain advantage because they were frustrated. That's what they do. That's what they do. See, I don't mind the laying on. I understand what they're doing and stuff like that. It doesn't bother me at all. Not affecting anything with them just laying there. Ethan says, "Let's go, Henry. Let's go, England." Yeah. Beckham was one heck of a player, man. The way he could literally bend the ball and put it into net in those things, he was a fantastic player. But I could never really get behind Beckham in terms of like supporting him and celebrating him and stuff to that effect. Other English players the same way, like Rooney, just couldn't. They just weren't likable guys, right? Henry Kane is a very likable superstar player. I do like him a lot, and the way he handles himself and things to that effect. I do like it a lot. I do like him a lot. And he brings that grit to this team and leadership to this team that they've lacked over the past few years. We're talking about England now as well. But no, I get the Mbappe. If he's not the greatest player in the world right now, he's definitely in the top 2 or 3 type there. It's just his frustration got to him, trying to gain advantage at times yesterday. The good thing is you got to give credit to that referee yesterday. He wasn't falling for it all. He even changed some calls. He gets some assists out there from his side judges. But he didn't fall for some of that nonsense happening. So, but we're at the second hour of the main event here as well. Appreciate you joining us. We're live on YouTube from 8 to 10 a.m. When we're here Monday through Thursday this week. We take Fridays off this week and Friday off next week. And then the week of ending in July 31st, we go back to our 5-day schedule. Like and share us with your friends. If you can't catch us live, hit us up on YouTube on demand, of course. And we break it up too. We have the whole show posted, and then we break it up into part 1 and part 2. So hour 1 and hour 2 for you. So if you only have time to listen to an hour, well, just pick one of those two. Of course, interviews like Bruce Cooper, anytime Coach comes on, Coach Sheehan, any interviews we do, they go down to the interview section, including Uncle Lou as well. So if you just want to listen to those parts or watch those parts, they're there. We have a free podcast as well. Just search the main event with Steven or main event with Dale. It'll pop right up for you on your favorite podcast system. At TME Sports Show on X, hit us up there. 623-252-6670 is our text line. And, of course, the YouTube chat while we're live as well. You can actually do some comments. So I kind of got behind on this. I saw we're learning the YouTube side of this is what we're doing because we've always been private before, right? And now we're moving to the YouTube side. It is interesting. I did go back and log into the account, and all of a sudden, all these comments came up. Like I think Robert was one of them, a couple other people maybe were making comments. They're watching it on demand and commenting. So we just I've now learned that we need to go in and pay attention to those comments as well for people that watch on demand. So, and of course, hit us up anytime on TME Sports Show. As well out there. Just quick programming note, Lou coming in tomorrow at 9 off Friday. Pit stop. It's not today. It's going to come out tomorrow for you, the pit stop. And I've been told, I haven't been asked, I've been told I'm filling in for Dale this week on the Holmberg Sports Podcast. Again this week. I filled in for Nash 2 weeks ago when they needed a fill-in. And I've been told I'm filling in tomorrow. So if that's the case, I'll be on that show coming up as well. If you listen to that Holmberg Sports Podcast, normally Dave and normally the Angry Fan or Angry Patriot and Hellestrae. I guess I'm filling in for Hellestrae tomorrow, coming that way as well. That's all brought to you by Hubbard Radio, is where you can, if you just search it, it'll come right up for you on your favorite podcast systems and all of that stuff as well. So that's how it'll go. And then pit stop tomorrow as well. It's going to be fun, folks. Come along with the ride. We appreciate it very much out there. Now, the interesting thing is I was looking for my notes here because the other thing I was paying attention to with the Spain thing. And I ignored this stuff. And then, sometimes you ignore stuff just because you think it's time for. It's like the Jordan back in the 90s, if you remember that. He couldn't get past the Pistons, couldn't get past, and then finally one year he gets past the Pistons, right, and able to do it. That's where I thought France was yesterday, to be honest with you. I just did. I thought that's where they were at, and we were going to get there. So that was wrong. Spain has now won 37 straight games. That's how good they are, folks. No doubt about it. That is how good Spain is. I just felt defeated thinking that it was France's time. I should know better. Yeah. I should know better how that works. So there we go. Really quick in college football news, then we'll get into, of course, All-Star game, talk about Corbin Carroll and Erod. Corbin, all right, All-Star game. We'll just call it all right. Erod, though, fantastic. Woo, fantastic for Erod out there as well. But first, I want to talk about ACC changing their tiebreakers. Last year, if you don't remember, I know it's been a long time since the college football season happened as well. Papa Mike says really quick, says, there's a show with Angry Patriot tomorrow on YouTube. No, so what we do on that is, to explain it to you, is TME Media, it's our company. We produce shows for other entities. We don't own that show and stuff like this show we own, Main Event, McCollum on Business we own, The Real Matrix we own as well, and we're in charge of it. Angry Patriot, that show's around as long as the Angry Patriot wants to do it with us, right? But we produce those and we're able to put those out under our systems. Then we do some other shows out there, one of them being the Holmberg Sports Podcast. Nope, we basically record it. We send it off to the producers and everybody over at Hubbard Radio, and then they put it out. I don't think we do it. We do the visual of it. We do that, but I don't think they do anything with the graphic side, the TV side. But it goes out in audio form on the podcast. Last time we did it, I went on vacation and I forgot to retweet it. This time though, if I am filling in, I haven't been asked. I've been told I'm filling in. But if I am filling in tomorrow, I'll let you guys know, and I'll retweet it out for you guys and put it out there so you guys can listen to it if you'd like to as well, and everything. Two Dobsonites, two Dobson high school grads getting together can be deadly at times. Yeah, as well. So so that's where you can find that, because we can't put it out. It's not our show. It's their show. We're just producing it for them, and another entity is what we do here. So we don't just do our shows. We actually produce and record and do all that stuff on other shows out there that go to other entities. It's also what we do here at TME Media. So that's one of those. So I'll retweet it out, or I'll give you the heads up on it, or I might just message you privately there, Papa Mike, and let you know where you can find it when it's posted. I don't even know when that show gets posted. We literally record it, upload it, send it to them, and then we wash our hands of it, and they put it out at that point there. So it's fun to do, which means I get to fill in a little bit. It's nice producing it, because when they need somebody, I tell everybody that we do shows with, hey, if you need somebody, let me know. I'll sit in on you, no matter what the subject is. I'll sit in on and help you out, or I'll sit on if somebody cancels on you, I'll sit in and help you out, type of stuff. So my services are there for those guys, and John Holmberg thinks highly enough of me that he allows me on his sports podcast and to fill in a method here these last couple of times. So that'll be fun as well. That we'll do. And I'm a little biased, but I thought the first time I did it a couple weeks, I thought it was pretty funny. But I might be a little biased there as well. But college football news here as well. More on that tomorrow as well. Whether I'm on the show tomorrow or not, I'm here while it's being recorded, and everything. But like I said, I've been told I'm being on it tomorrow. So, so last year at the end of college football season, it's easy to forget because it's been a long time, but the ACC had a 5-way tie to see who would go to their ACC championship game. Who are the two teams that were going to get in there and everything. And it was interesting because the ACC champion, Duke, did not qualify for that game last year. They won the tournament. They ended up playing ASU in the Sun Bowl as well. Yeah. It's just who was it last year? It was Virginia and somebody, wasn't it? Maybe was it Virginia and Duke? It might have been Virginia and Duke. I might be confusing it. The point is, though, the best team in the ACC did not to get into that game. And there's some questions there with a 5-team playoff. So the ACC is now changing their tiebreaker policy. Head-to-head matchups are going to continue to be the top tiebreaker. The third tiebreaker, though, now will be settled by which team ranks highest in the team success ranking by Sports Source Analytics. That analytic company is one of the metrics used by the College Football Playoff Committee. So to you and me, they're just pulling that out of thin air for the third one, right? But it is there. They went last year for that 5-team tiebreaker. They went to the 7th tiebreaker to find out which 2 teams are going to play in the ACC tournament games. Yeah. By the way, it was Miami that was left out. So it was Virginia and Duke, I think, last year. And Miami didn't make the ACC tournament because they lost in the tiebreaker. They lost one of those tiebreakers. Do you remember Miami last year that went to the College Football Playoff Championship game? Not Miami? Didn't even make their ACC championship because they lost to the tiebreaker in that 5-team tiebreaker. Yeah. It was Virginia and Duke last year in the ACC championship game. Man. Miami was ranked number 12 at the end of the season. Couldn't even get in their own championship game because it went to 7 tiebreakers to decide. That's just a bad situation. You want your best 2 teams in that game. There's no way Miami shouldn't have been in there, right? And things. Yeah. So ACC's changing some of their stuff there as well. Now, Duke ended up losing that game. And so their ranking went down. And it cost them, a good bowl. That's why they had to go to the Sun Bowl. They ended up being knocked out because I think one of the at-large teams jumped ahead of them because Duke lost that championship game. So if Duke wouldn't have played in that game, they could have got a better bowl game in theory, right, as well. So 2027, all but one ACC team will play 9 conference game. The team that will play 8 conference games, because it's the number of teams in the ACC, the one that plays 8 games will rotate every year. So it won't be the same team every year. A new team will play 8 conference games instead of 9 as well. So ACC making those changes. Because 5-team tiebreaker is kind of ridiculous in a league. Talk about parity, right? Even though Miami was the best team by far in that league. Then on top of it, you go to 7 tiebreakers to figure out who the last 2 are. A little ridiculous. And then not having your best team in your conference, not being in your championship game, is an absolute joke as well. So, ACC making some changes here. Just common sense, folks. Stop making this so hard. Stop making it so hard. And also, Miami not being in that championship game is what gave us those 2 group of 12, or those 2 group of 6 teams into the tournament. Remember how we had 2 of those teams get in? That's why. Miami not making the tournament, the exclusion from the ACC title game, led to that entity as well. You should not have 2 lower tier teams in the 12-team playoff, folks. You guys know my stance on that. James Madison and Tulane, put 1 in if you have to. But to have 2 of those, both of those teams in there, James Madison and Tulane, really? Included in the playoff? That was a joke. A joke of a system. So now we can get that stuff fixed here going forward. But it is interesting how these leagues still have to tweak things as we move forward. Because, for the love of God, just get this stuff fixed, man. It's embarrassing. So ACC at least trying to fix it moving forward as well. Papa Mike says 7th tiebreaker and still got it wrong. Miami lost that tiebreaker. Miami lost one of the tiebreakers. I think if I remember correctly, and don't quote me on this because it's been a while, I want to say Miami lost the 2nd tiebreaker. Is where they got eliminated. So it was a 5 teams. And teams were being eliminated as it went down, but it got to that 7th tiebreaker to get to Duke and Virginia. Yeah. I know there's rules. I know all that stuff. I'm pretty sure I said it last year, but you could look at it and go, all right, we need our representative that's going to the college football playoff, Miami. We need them in the ACC championship game. It can't be that hard of a decision to have done, right? You would think. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe they change it up a little bit. ACC wants to be that different. Keep in mind, the ACC is a team that has Stanford and Cal come from California and vice versa, back and forth to play games. It's a ridiculous thing the ACC does out there as well, to be honest with you, and what they deal with and everything. So we got a couple days here before baseball gets kicked up again. And I do believe, and I apologize, I was going to look this up earlier. Nobody plays Thursday, right? Because I know in years past, you'd always have like one team come back and play on Thursday. What is the date? Today's the 15th, right? Oh, okay. So there is one team that plays tomorrow. I wanted to look it up to make sure I was correct. I should have done it before the show. I'm slacking on you. Yeah, one game tomorrow, and that is the Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. They play at 4 p.m. tomorrow for that. So one game comes back on Thursday. Everybody else comes back on Friday. Diamondbacks play at home here, to St. Louis. St. Louis is ahead of them in the wild card standings right now. They're the first team outside looking in. So you can make some moves here. Interesting enough on the Diamondbacks here before we get into the All-Star game. I'm just looking at like schedule stuff for them. They had a very tough beginning of the year schedule, the Diamondbacks. And they're right around 500. I know they're 2 games above 500, but they're in that 500 range that they are. When they come back, just the rest of July, Cardinals, Athletics. I should just say Cardinals for 3, Athletics for 3, all at home. Now, Athletics are an improved team. They're about a 500 team, even though they're below 500 right now. But they can beat you. They have a lot of young talent. Cardinals, you're competing with them for a wild card. I think the Cardinals are going to kind of fall a little bit in the second half of the season. They're outperforming this year with their talent. I think they're going to start to have some struggles and falter out of the wild card chase here, or at least not be as good as they were in the first half of the season. Now, you can help them with that by winning that, right? So 2 games. Then this is that series when you go on the road. You got at Cardinals for that one game, that rain makeup. Then you got at Nationals for 3, and then at Pirates. Not easy games, but teams that are kind of scuffling, and also teams in the wild card hunt as well. So you can really do it to improve yourself here. But these aren't Dodgers. These aren't Yankees. These aren't those types of teams you're playing. Then at the end of the month, you got the Cleveland Guardians, which are scuffling this year as well. So you just sit here, right? And then you go into August. And I'm doing all this for a point. Trust me here. Then you got 4 against the Padres at home. What are the Padres going to do in the second half of the season? Well, if they do like they did in the first half, they're going to struggle. Or are they going to wake up? So big series there. Then you got the Dodgers for 3. Then the Rockies for 3. Then you go to the Braves and then to the Red Sox. Then in August, you got the Reds at home and then Cubs at home. Teams you're going to be competing against for the wild card spots, or at least a playoff spot. And you got the Giants, at the Giants as well coming up. And then you got the Phillies. So I'm looking at it and I'm going, this is a pretty rough schedule that the Diamondbacks have end of July, beginning of August. Not terrible. You're not playing, you got the Dodgers for 3. The Phillies are coming in, at the end of July, beginning of August. But these are beatable teams. Teams you can win series against as well, right? Going into it. Then you go into August, right? You've got the Phillies to start there, end of July, beginning of August. And you go at the Astros, at the Royals, winnable games. Rangers at home, Marlins at home. Right now, the Marlins are the hottest team in baseball, at least going into the All-Star break. Do they cool off? You expect them to cool off, right? Now, keep in mind, this is also after the trade deadline. After the 3rd of August, I believe is when it is. It's around there. Then you got the Yankees at home. That's going to be a tough series. Good team. Then you got the Rockies and Padres after that. And again, what Padres team is that going to be? That's September. So you look at the schedule, and I didn't quantify it with whose records are what and stuff to that effect. You've only got a couple series against really good teams, like really, really good teams. Otherwise, you're playing either teams in your talent level or worse teams than you. Then I saw this online yesterday. I didn't qualify it. But to me, the Diamondbacks have a favorable schedule coming back from the All-Star game. Now, what do you do with it's the next question. Now, I'm just, like I said, I didn't quantify. I didn't sit down and go, here's the record of the teams. I didn't do any math. Lord knows we don't do math here. I didn't do any math. I didn't break it down. I didn't even look for it. I didn't go to Spot Track and look at strength of schedule stuff and if they've calculated. I didn't do any of that. I just, me visually looking at the schedule like I just did with you, and I went, that's a favorable schedule for the Diamondbacks. They can do some damage in this. Then if teams like the Cardinals, one, you beat them when you play them. If you beat them while you play them, all the Cardinals, I think the Cardinals are going to regress a little bit here in the second half of the season. The Reds, the Pirates, maybe regress a little bit here at the end of the season. These are teams here. Miami Marlins, they can't keep playing at this level. What do they do at the trade deadline? They don't care how good they're doing. They could sell at the trade deadline. You could see them regress a little bit as well. You have a favorable schedule here. Padres, do they keep struggling? Or are they able to play themselves back into contention? You don't know what they're going to do. You do have a favorable schedule in my eyes as we just went through it. You're playing teams at least at your talent level for the next month, two and a half months. It's not like the beginning of the year where you're playing all these playoff level teams. You're playing with teams that are going to be fighting for the playoffs or regressing a little bit for the rest of the year. Except for the Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox will be fighting for a playoff spot and that stuff. Then I found this. This is by a guy, TJ Stats is where I saw this. Somebody else had posted it, and I saw it on their feed, so I took it here. Remaining strength of schedule here for these teams. St. Louis, who you're competing with, has the 22 easiest schedule, or 22nd level hardest. 30 teams in baseball, remember that. Your Arizona Diamondbacks, because you're competing against St. Louis, you got to pay attention to that. San Diego has the 27th hardest, meaning they're the easiest. 27 out of 30th they have the 27th. Am I phrasing this right? Right. Number 1 is hardest. 30th is the easiest schedule. And then the Padres are 27th. Diamondbacks 28th, according to this TJ Stats. Whoever this is. I didn't verify it. I didn't look at it. But the Padres and Diamondbacks have an easy second half schedule according to this graph. And then when you look at it and go, yeah, they do kind of have an easy schedule. A favorable schedule, let's put it that way. I don't like the word easiest because other teams get paid too. But they have fairly easy, manageable schedules. Now can they turn it around? Can they keep the momentum of that Dodgers series out there moving forward? Kind of questions I got out there. Again, the Diamondbacks, when they got rid of Pavin Smith and DFA'd him, when Zach Gallen went on the IL, got hope. Then you went and swept the Dodgers. You got more hope. Now, if you want to project out, they have a favorable schedule coming their way. I'm going to go so far as to say this. Joey Lavello needs to make the playoffs this year. I think he's gone. He should be gone if he doesn't make the playoffs this year with the talent this team has. I don't care what injuries pop up. I don't care who you've lost. I don't care what excuses you want. You make the playoffs or we need a voice change here. Period. End of story. I would argue you need a voice change no matter what happens, but I digress on that. The schedule is so manageable for the Diamondbacks. If you don't make the playoffs, it's going to be even worse. You can't slip up anymore. You just got to keep fighting, man. And you have a favorable schedule against teams that are in your talent level, except for the Dodgers, of course, and the Yankees. Those guys might be a little bit, maybe the Red Sox a little bit more. Phillies are beatable. Favorable schedule. I saw that graph. I'm going off of his math. I'm assuming it's right. Don't quote me on it if it's wrong. Anything to that effect. But looking at that schedule, to me, the Diamondbacks do have a favorable schedule as well. Robert tagged me and said, save this for Helly. I saw that yesterday. He says Mbappe when it was time to win a playoff game in Dallas. and it was he was Dak Prescott. I saw that yesterday. That cracks me up as well. Because France was in Dallas yesterday as well. So, no, Diamondbacks looking ahead schedule. And, of course, we got a couple more days here to look at. They don't get underway until Friday here at home against St. Louis. But there's just hope going into the second half of the season. Then you stack some of these wins together here in July, and then all of a sudden you add a big bat. You add a first baseman on this team in the trade deadline. Get a little bit more of a bump with a favorable schedule for you second half season. I'm not saying that's why I hesitate on the easy stuff, because the other teams get paid. You can go get swept by, the Athletics. Even though you should be able to beat the Athletics at least 2 out of 3. I hesitate to do sweeps. Sweeps are hard in baseball. I don't care who you are. Even the Dodgers have a hard time sweeping sometimes. The other team, just comes out of pitchers, hitting, etc., stuff like that. But the favorable schedule for the Diamondbacks tells me it's got to be a playoff push. It's got to get into the playoffs, or you need a voice change here. The excuses are gone moving forward. You can't blame the hard schedule. If injuries happen, everybody's injured. Come through it. Let's do it. Some hope there for your Arizona Diamondbacks. So that's what I was working on yesterday, just projecting out. I was actually surprised at how easy their schedule was. Like when I was just going through that schedule, the same exercise I did with you. Similar talent, lesser team, similar team, lesser team, similar team, better. The lesser, similar. I was like, wow, this is a favorable schedule. Maybe we can, maybe I'll do some searching tonight. Let me make a note here. Let me see if I can find somebody that actually quantitated it with percentage records here of who you face coming up here for the Diamondbacks compared to everybody else. I'll see if I can find that tonight. I'm not going to do that math. But maybe we can find somebody that's done it for us out there, so we don't have to worry about that, right? As well. Robert says, shouldn't the second tiebreaker be the highest ranked team? He's talking about the ACC tiebreakers. I don't know why these guys do these weird tiebreakers. I think head-to-head needs to be the number one tiebreaker, especially in conference play. Because if you beat the other team, if you're tied with them and you beat the other team, you deserve benefit for beating that other team, right? That's how I look at it. Head-to-head to me should be your number one tiebreaker, and it is in the ACC. But after that, right, you get into some weird stuff. Common opponents, records, and it's just like, oh my God, my head hurts. My head hurts. At no point should you go to 7 tiebreakers. Just to have 5 teams in the tiebreaker is like almost impossible, folks. Think about that for a second. 5 teams tied for conference championship. Talk about parity. Ethan says, the math sucks for football. We just need to pick which game they think would be good. I don't know what that means, Ethan. I know what it means. Just in reference to what we're talking about on football and what game they need to pick that would be good out there. So when we come back, we'll keep it rolling. I got some home run derby stats for you because I think I said it yesterday. Man, it just felt like that home run derby was a lot less home runs. I got quantitative stats for you on this. And I enjoyed it more than the old clock one. I got some stats on that for you. Then, of course, we'll talk, MLB All-Star Game in general. Erod, Corbin, how the game went. Typical All-Star game. Snoozer. Pitching dominated. Come on back, folks. Main event. Your main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. I forgot to redo the intros at the top of the second hour there. Of course, 17-year NFL veteran, three-time Super Bowl champion, Dale Hellestrae. Well, he announced last week he's going to Sedona for his birthday week. Frolicking around Sedona and getting his aura checked. He's probably in one of those shops, checking out his aura, seeing if he can get it, realigned. Type of a situation out there. He'll be back on Monday. Tomorrow, I'll get you started on the show. And then, of course, Uncle Lou comes in tomorrow on Thursday as well. Taking Friday off. Don't forget, July 31st that week. July 31st is a Friday. That week, well, we're back 5 days a week starting that week as well with football season and all the teams reporting. Of course, Cardinals report next week. We'll be covering that as well, obviously, and things. So, but July 31st, that week, last week of July, we're going back to 5 days at that time as well. Summer break is over, folks, as football season is underway as well. Don't forget, like and subscribe to our YouTube page, Rumble page, if you prefer that. Of course, the free podcast systems, we greatly would appreciate it out there, and share us with your friends. I appreciate it. I saw a couple people over the weekend. The main event Facebook page, which we don't promote that much. It's always been there. We used to broadcast to it when I was at the radio station. We'd funnel it into YouTube as well, type of a thing, or into a Facebook as well. We are exploring other ways to listen to us live. I think radio station through an app, though, not through your deck. It'd be an app you'd play on your phone that obviously can go into your speakers, stuff like that. We're exploring those options. We just basically want to be out there in a lot of entities where people can find us. A lot of these shows will just do one entity, and put it there, and you have to go to that one. Now, we want to be accessible to everybody out there. So we're exploring those options that hopefully are coming soon. Kind of excited about it as well, that we are looking at coming up. So we'll announce those as we explore those and get those. We have a webpage coming up as well that you'll be able to watch the show live from on the webpage, TME Media AZ. Right now, it's just a coming soon band. We got Ethan back there working hard on that over the last few weeks or so, coming your way as well. Plus, other fun things. We're going to start getting some written articles, some, like I said, some side things, a movie review show. It was hoping to get that started at the beginning of summer. Somebody who wants to do that with me, and change jobs, and schedule got a little convoluted. But we got some ideas here, and to get that up and running here shortly. We're going to go see Odyssey this weekend. Meet Ethan and Autumn on Sunday. So we'll see how that 3-hour epic's going to be with Matt Damon as well. I'm looking forward to that. And then a couple weeks away from Spider-Man coming out as well. Ethan says they picked the matchups for the champ game for conference games. Oh, that's what Ethan was referring to, in terms of the math sucks for football. I get there's rules and you got to go through it because it wasn't fair to Duke and Virginia to be left out when they deserved to go in based off of the rules. But so you got to change the rules to where you get the best two teams in there as well. Ethan says like a Clemson versus Florida State or something like that, meaning matchups to get the better matchups. Yeah, having Tulane and I already forgot the other school, James Madison in the college football playoffs. Nobody wants to see that. And that's why expanding it out even more is even more ridiculous. It's going to lead to more teams that shouldn't be there and dominating in the college football playoffs as well. So they need to knock that off. Hey, All-Star game last night. Before we get into that, Home Run Derby was on Monday. I told you before, the production of the Home Run Derby, I didn't like. They had a lot of flaws with it. The camera angle close to the players down low. It's a different angle than we're used to seeing from center field, right? They try to beautify the angle and make it look theatrical and things to that effect. I thought that was a failure. Then missing, not seeing where balls go after they hit them, disaster. We missed a few swings of bats because they were on something else, balls or interviews, etc. And at-bat interviews weren't very good either. So production side, I'd give it like a C. But those things are easy to. Hey, it didn't work out. Switch the format up for next time. Switch it up a little bit. I'm fine with that camera angle close occasionally. Switch to it every once in a while, but not have it be your main camera feed. Go back to what everybody's used to seeing from center field, for instance. Go to that stuff sporadically, but don't miss swings and don't miss where the ball goes. That's the whole reason we're watching. I want to point that out there. So production, I'll give it a C. Format, though, I'm giving it an A+. They had to get rid of the clock, go to the swing concept. Does it slow it down? Yes. But that rule at the end, was that not the best home run ending you've ever seen in a long time? He's down to one swing left, down by 3 or 3 or 4, and he has to hit all home runs in order to win it, and he does it. And then the hometown guy, Schwarber, gets knocked out and loses it. Fantastic ending. The format, to me, I think, is a winner. Just got to change some of that production stuff. I don't know if people agree with me, though. I think I might be a minority. I know Jeff Passan, who went into it saying it was going to be a bad format, he wasn't going to like it, said afterwards he liked the format. Again, the ending helps with your feelings. It's like when you're on a golf course and you suck all round long. You get to hole 18 and you birdie hole 18, and you have 3 sweet shots, boom, sink the putt, and a birdie. And hole 17, you're feeling bad about your game, and you're ready to sell your clubs and take a basket weaving. You have a good 18th hole, get that birdie, walk off the course. All of a sudden, all better, feeling great about it. The ending matters to things because that's what you remember the most. The ending helps a lot. I get it. The home run derby with the clock over the last several years, the average over the last 5 years was that time frame, that clock that they had. They had 275 homers on average for the whole thing. Monday night, with this new format where it was only swings only, it did go a lot slower. And there's a reason why this happened, by the way, and we'll talk about it. So Monday night, over the same amount of time, 131 homers. What is that, 144? Is my math wrong? A lot of less home runs on Monday night. I didn't think it was any less exciting in my eyes. And here's the reason why. With the clock, guys could get into a rhythm. Because you only had a certain amount of time for him to hit. So literally it was throw the ball, boom, swing. Throw the ball, swing. Throw the ball, swing. Like they were just coming in, which caused the broadcast problem. You had to have that split screen where you see the guy swinging and watching the ball on the other screen, and it's just confusing to go back and forth. Batters want to get into a rhythm. When you just do swings, right, you can let a couple balls go by and rest for a few. You get tired. How many guys with the clock hit 20 home runs in the first round and they hit like 2 in the second round because they were just exhausted? This, you get a little tired in the middle of it, you just let the couple balls go by you. Even if they're strikes, who cares? Or go off of swings. Less home runs. I thought the format was better. Am I alone in that is my question. Am I alone in that? I have a feeling I'm going to be, not alone, but I have a feeling that I'm going to be in the minority in my take on that. Let me know. Hit me up on the YouTube chat, of course, TME Media, or TME Sports Show on X, 623-252-6670 as well. Robert also says, Papa Mike says, movie review. I'll seriously listen to somebody you're talking about. You will. I'm sure you'll be funny with your reviews. The person that wants to do it with me, I'm guessing is going to be more serious about her reviews than I will be. I mean, I'm serious about them, but I also have fun with things, right? A little bit more and stuff like that. So we'll see. We don't know. We're gonna have to start testing it. Just behind the curtains type of stuff here on this. I was going to do it at the studio, come in here and do a movie review show here at the studio and have a new set and all that stuff. Well, the studio's over by the airport. I live in the Far East Valley. So you go see a movie on a Saturday, or like the Odyssey on Sunday. We're going to go see the Odyssey on Sunday morning. It's a 3-hour-long movie. We're going to go see it. Are we realistically going to then drive to the studio and do a movie review to put out. With her schedule, mainly mine's a little easier than hers, type of a thing. So that's why I'm thinking we might be setting up a home studio at the house for the movie reviews, because then we could just walk in the house, go upstairs, turn it on, boom, and then get it out there. So that's the stuff we're working through right now, but it's going to be fun coming on. I know I've been promising the movie review for a year now, a year and a half now. I know I've been promising it. At first, it was just what I wanted to do, and then I was trying to figure it in an hour. Then I realized it doesn't need to be an hour-long show. It can just be a short thing. As much time as needed. So it just got reconciling that stuff with my dreams. I was dreaming too big, folks. Dreaming too big and trying to figure out how to fit into it. Won't just be movies. It'll be streaming stuff, TV shows, probably things to that effect as well. Robert also says, seems like they try to reinvent the wheel. Less is more. That goes for everything, man. I just talked about it with this movie review show. For like a year and a half, I was trying to figure out how I do an hour-long movie review show once a week. Like, are we gonna have enough content for this to put it in there? Are we gonna have enough to say about a movie? How many movies do we have to do every week? How many shows? No, why? And then finally, like a few months ago, I was like, why am I making this so complicated? Just do a little side thing with with an intro and all of that, and just do it. Why be so complicated about it? And then you can adjust it from there, right? And grow it or shrink it if it doesn't work. But it goes like that with everything. Goes like that with the tiebreakers in the ACC. Goes like that with the home run derby. Goes like that with the All-Star game where they added, winner of the team gets home field advantage in the World Series, that type of stuff. Less is a lot of time more, folks. It's better to start off with a concept and throw it together as, we want to make it still look good. Don't get me wrong. But the tiebreakers, just make it simple. Then if you need to adjust it harder, then you adjust it harder, or you adjust it more, more bigger type of a thing. You don't need to start with this big old thing and pare it back. It's a lot of work. You need to do that stuff as well. Robert says, hopefully if the movie review thing goes well, you don't get Brian Dunklemond. I don't know what that means. Who's Brian Dunkelman, and what happened to him? Is he alive? Is he alive right now? I don't know what that means. Let me look at this real quick here. We'll get into the All-Star game here in a second, I swear to God. Oh, the guy that was on American Idol in that first season. Robert, you've been around long enough with me here on my programming and stuff like that I've always told everybody, like, the big thing I like on radio is you don't take a vacation because, the guy that comes in fills in for you, your boss might like them better, right? They might get better ratings. People might like them better. And then your boss will move on from you and you move on. It's the nature of the business we're in. Don't take vacations because you can be replaced, and stuff to that effect. So that industry, and mostly that industry, there's the guys that aren't. John Holmberg is not this way. Other ones I've worked with, Dale Hellestrae is not this way. Other people we've worked with, though, are very much this way. To the point where a guy gets fired from the old WTSM TV, goes on his podcast 2 weeks later and says how crappy my takes are and stuff like that. All that is somebody that got released from something and has to take it out on other people because they're embarrassed by it. They think they're better and all those egos. It's ridiculous. It's an ego thing that people deal with around here. Same thing with Helly's old partner on the radio and stuff to that effect. It's embarrassing that happens. There's place for everybody. Now you might get moved on from that side. But Brian Dunkelman was the American Idol guy who was with holy cow, what's the other guy's name? Who still hosts it to this day, right? And everything. And I've always said this, Robert. If there's somebody better than me or somebody that does it better than me, I'll move away. The whole idea, like the pit stop, for instance, just to show you, I'm not saying this to toot my own horn by any stretch of the imagination. I like what I do. But the pit stop started, I'll just give you a hint. The pit stop started because the guy that was doing that with me wanted to stay in this industry. He, left 1580, not on his own terms, and wanted to stay in media. So I said, let's do a show. Let's keep you involved. Let's get you a racing show. The whole point of that was I get it started with them on the back of me with my supporters, my fans out there, my listeners, I should say, not fans, not, just listeners. And I was like, I'll use my knowledge here. We'll get the pit stop started. And then I'll leave that show and leave it to him to get his own person or whoever he wants on that. Didn't work out that way. I'm still doing the pit stop, which is fine. I love doing it. But I'm the type of guy. So if we start the movie review and it turns out that somebody doesn't want me involved with it, no problem. I'll be more than happy to move aside. I say that about all my shows. If there's somebody that can do this show better and people like them better and it flows better and stuff like that, I have no problem being like, all right, that's not working with them. I'll go do my own thing and do something else later on, So I'm not that way. I'm not that egotistical way, and I'm not afraid of things. There's always going to be somebody better than you out there. Yeah, I mean, you guys know this. You guys listen to a lot of stuff out there. You have good days, bad days, good shows, bad shows, things like that. It happens. You just plow through it. And I always tell people all the time, yeah, Robert says original co-host of American Idol. Yeah. It's going to be fun. Papa Mike says, studio in the house like you had it about 6 years ago? He goes, I like it. Back then when we started the podcast, because Papa Mike's been around since the original podcast days. That was in our office. My investment company's repair business and everything, that eventually became Daybreak Services that Riley bought and stuff like that. I was in that office. That was a house that was an office for that business. And we had a room in there that we did podcasting out of and stuff like that. So, and things. So, yeah. So, no, not there. We'll set up a little small studio. Is what I'm leaning towards right now at my actual house. Lord knows we have that extra storage room, right? And stuff like that. So we can easily get it done as well. Papa Mike says, Chief was awesome. I haven't talked with him in several years. I hope he's doing well. I haven't talked to him either. Actually, I ran into him at WrestleMania. We got together at WrestleMania in Vegas a few weeks ago and stuff to that effect. So I'm not bashing him. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing Chief or whoever, since you brought him up, Papa Mike. I'm not bashing anybody in this conversation. I was just giving you some insight and stuff from the behind the scenes insight here of the thought process. And since Robert brought up being Dinkelman. I don't have that ego. If we can find 5 or 6 people, if we find somebody that does the business show better, if we can find somebody that does this show better, find somebody that does the pit stop better, find somebody that does the movie reviews really good, no problem. I have no problem. No problem with that whatsoever, folks. I do like what I do, though. It is fun. I joke around about that, but it's just one of those things. Time passes by, right? And I'm the realist when it comes to that stuff. This industry is not something you stick around in long unless you're just perseverance and you can do it. And I'm lucky enough to be able to do it on my terms now as well, coming up here. And it's just fun, right? It's just fun. So last night in the All-Star game as well, it was nice seeing 2 Diamondbacks out there. The other nice thing I thought about it was Corbin Carroll made a nice catch out in the outfield, of course. Made a nice catch against the Xfinity sign out there. Participated in the game and made a play that contributed to the game. I thought that was fantastic there for Carroll to get out there and be noticed. Now at the plate, I would have liked to. My dream for Corbin Carroll was he gets a nice hit and turns it into a double or a triple, and everybody gets to see that about Corbin Carroll. Well, it didn't happen. Like the whole National League struggled yesterday. Everybody did. Only guys that got hits were, I know Juan Soto got one. Freddie Freeman. Oh, no, Freddie Freeman didn't even get one yesterday. Juan Soto, Otto Lopez got a hit. Kikro Armstrong, that's right, late in the game. PCA got one as well. There's your 3 hits for your National League team yesterday. The American League pitchers are really good, folks. If it wasn't for the first inning where Christopher Sanchez gave up those 3 earned runs. He had 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, gave up the 3 runs, 3-0 then. Obviously, they gave up another run later on as well in the game. Justin, was it Warblowski? Did Warblowski give up the other one? I should look it up. I don't know why I'm guessing. I literally have the box score in front of me. Warblowski, yeah, he gave up the other earned run to make it 4-0 at that point. He pitched 2 innings, which shocked me. You know, most guys go. Mason Miller got into this game, which I wish I would have seen more of him, but I get it, right, as well for him. The other thing is, so Corbin Carroll, 0 for at the plate, 0 for 1, but made the play in the outfield. So he got to participate in the game and make it, I'm going to say make an impact, but, do something to, to affect the game out there. That's fantastic. He didn't just go to the outfield and stand there and nothing get hit to him, and just stood there and then ran into the dugout, did a at bat, and then went home. He at least got to make a play in the outfield. For a young guy, I think that's great. Then Erod, which I was impressed with this. Christopher Sanchez goes out there, gives up the 3 runs, strikes out 2 walks, gives up the 3 runs in the first inning. And I'm like, ooh, Rodriguez is coming in for the second. Let's do it. What was it, 8 pitches? Quick. Retires the side. Scoreless. Hitless. Walkless. That's fantastic, man. Erod, what Erod has become this year is amazing. In the WBC, what he did in the WBC was fantastic. What he done this whole quote-unquote first half of the baseball season, fantastic. Goes into the All-Star game after they give up 3 runs in the first, shuts them down, sets the tone there, no hits, no walks. I want to say it was 8 pitchers. It was something like that. Gets out of the second inning. Fantastic. Erod, comeback player of the year. I know he's not going to win it. I know I'm being a little facetious there, but comeback player of the year there, man. What he is doing this year is freaking amazing. It's almost where you got to swear when you say it. Say the whole F word, because it's just amazing what he's doing out there. So there's your Diamondbacks and what they did in the All-Star game yesterday. Other than that, the game was a snoozer. I felt like I was watching a lot of Diamondbacks games. Other team gets 3 runs in the first. Diamondback, the bats don't hit. No, nobody gets on base. Nothing. No hits happen, and you lose 4-0. PTSD there for the Diamondbacks as well on the All-Star game. Wasn't the worst thing I saw last night? I'm just also not an all-star game type of guy. I'm just not. But it's fun watching that talent out there. But here's the other side. Here's the National League pitchers last night. So if you're, just imagine like when I was a kid, right? Or even just 10 years ago. Now, I'm into baseball, right? It's not my favorite sport. If anything, it's my 4th favorite sport. It falls below. Hockey and football, 1-2, depending on how I'm feeling that day. Those 2 are 1-2. Basketball, then there's a gap, and then there's NBA, and then there's Major League Baseball. For a while there, Major League Baseball was last, but now with the pitch clock and those types of things, maybe baseball's overtaken NBA because the NBA is hard to watch for me. It's hard for me to watch. It's hard. I used to go home and watch all these East Coast NBA games beforehand. I just don't do it anymore. I can't do it. I just can't do it every night. Every night, I just can't. I still go, yeah, I'm going to have to put baseball third. Because I do go home, I have Yankees games on, I have day games on MLB Network and stuff to that. I have all that stuff on. So I have to put baseball third. But just imagine if you're a casual baseball fan. For these were the all-star pitchers last night for the National League. Christopher Sanchez, Erod, of course. Riley O'Brien, Jesus Luzardo, Foster Griffin. Then you got Iglesias on there, Justin Woblowski, Mason Miller, and Johan Duran. Those are your National League All-Star pitchers that came in last night. Casual baseball, do they know who they are? Generally? Do they know who these pitchers are? On the AL side, Dylan Cease. You might have to be more than a casual for some of these names, but Dylan Cease is one heck of a pitcher. Parker Messick. I get you. maybe not a household name. Michael Wacha, Joe Ryan, Nick Martinez, Kate Smith, Drew Rasmussen, Jacob Latz, Luis Verland. Chapman got into the game late. Red Sox closer there got into the game late. Brian Baker, right? No Otani, no Yamamoto. Spice up the game here, man. That's all I got to say. And then here on this Wednesday, I want to leave you with one last thing. I'm reading a lot here. A lot over the last couple of days on the Olympics. Olympics are coming up in 2028 in Los Angeles. American World. So it's not going to take a lot for baseball to take a break and go play in the Olympics. It's here in Los Angeles area for baseball. So Major League Baseball, it's not going to be hard for them. It's not like they have to take a break and then travel to the other side of the world or anything to get there to play baseball. You can literally just leave your team, go to your national teams and go. This is fascinating, this negotiation. I talked a little bit about it yesterday. MLB PA is balking at it because of hotel accommodations, tickets availability to the players, and that stuff. Then I read this last night. Major League Baseball wants to make the LA Olympics mandatory for those chosen players. So if you get chosen for the team, your national team, mandatory to play it. World Baseball Classic, a lot of guys wanted to play it, but insurance reasons they couldn't because you had an age requirement, age height, and stuff like that out there. How's that going to work? Is that stuff going to come into play for the Olympics as well, right? They say Major League Baseball says this is what they want. If you miss the Olympics without an approved excuse and you're on the restricted list without pay and service time for as many as 25 days, which will put you through August 3rd of that year of 2028. The second half of the season after the All-Star break begins July 21st next year. So if you get chosen for the Olympic team and you say, I'm not going to play on it, and you don't have a good enough reason, they're saying no pay, no service time for 3 weeks after the Olympics ends? Yeah. If you're on the IL, you're on the Olympic team, but you go on the IL, you can't circumvent this by going on the IL before the Olympic break to get out of it. No. If you're on the IL and you're an Olympian, you can't come back to your Major League Baseball team or go on rehab until after August 3rd. Now, these aren't official. This is what Major League Baseball reportedly wants to happen. Obviously, MLBPA has a say in this. Interesting enough, reports that I saw yesterday with all of that being out there, several people are reporting on it. Several baseball guys are reporting on this. To me, I'd be arguing about that, right? If you're the MLBPA, what do you mean you're going to suspend guys for 3 weeks afterwards and stuff to that effect? Like, you're not going to do that. That's what I'd be arguing about. Do you know what MLBPA is arguing about, the Players Association? They're arguing about negotiations over the Olympics. They're arguing about players' demands for tickets and housing. So at least that's telling me MLBPA is like, you get chosen for this thing, you got to go play on it. Look, you saw with the WBC. Now, this would happen in the middle of the season. So it's the WBC's at the beginning. So guys are going to be injured this time of year, right? Stuff to that. Like Orlovsky, for Canada, for instance. Oh, not Orlovsky. Sheesh. The Diamondbacks, I just forgot his name. Not Orlovsky. That's the football guy. He's on the injury reserve now. He's coming back. He pitched for Canada in the WBC. Holy cow, I just had a brain fart, folks. I apologize. But he's on the IL. Been on it. If there's an Olympic break now, does that mean he couldn't come back till August 3rd because he's on the IL? Because he can't pitch for Canada? It's just fascinating to me. It sounds to me like that. But obviously, if I can say it this way, the WBC shows the fandom of nations reporting for duty and playing each other and having Major League Baseball players do it as well. The WBC is a rousing success. Can you create it at the Olympic level in the middle of a season? I'll tell you this. I'll pay attention to Olympic baseball if Major League Baseball players are in it. If it's similar format and stuff like that, as a WBC. Absolutely, I'll pay attention to that. I'll catch every baseball game there is if that's the case. I find it interesting, though, at least reportedly from what I saw yesterday, they're fighting over tickets and hotel accommodations, meaning they want high-end accommodations, which is fascinating to me because you don't hear about that stuff with NBA players playing in the Olympics. You don't hear about that with NHL players playing in the Olympics. I mean, it's a negotiation. But, baseball, on the other hand, is a little bit different out there as well. So there you go. Yep. He says, can't we hire John to take over the sports show? Jeez. He has his own sports podcast that I'll be on tomorrow. I'll tell you more about that later on as well and everything. No, we can't afford John. Number one morning radio show. Yeah, in Arizona. Yeah, for like 25 years now. He does pretty good. Yeah. Ann says, how was the broadcast on TV? I had to listen to it since I was driving around, and it was awful. She said, they talked about Philly and all the people who are from the area that were playing. So even with the household names, they didn't help bolster the drive for people to watch or pay attention. Soroka, by the way, I had a total brain fart there. I don't know why Dan Orlovsky came into my mind. Soroka was the Diamondbacks pitcher. I was trying to pull out of my head here and everything. Woo! Worn out, folks. Time to go home and take a nap. I don't got time for a nap. We got World Cup at noon, and then we've got dentist appointments all afternoon. No time for naps today. But in terms of what Ann said there, I found it interesting. Now, I was at the Native there for 2-3 innings, so they had it on, but it's hard to hear in a bar setting, right? In that type of a setting. I did like interviews. I do like the mic'd up players in these games where they mic, hey, let's go to third baseman, so stuff like that. When I was watching it toward the end, it was it was 4-0, and they just kept reiterating what a pitching duel it was. So I'm not the person to ask on how the broadcast was overall. I'll put it this way: what I was able to hear when I was watching it in an environment where I could hear it, I didn't think it was bad. It didn't bother me at all. It didn't bother me at all. But in terms of the whole thing, I'm not the person to ask on that either. I kind of missed it too, Ann. So for anybody that caught it, let us know how that went as well out there. Ethan says you can nap during dentist. I've done that before, where the kids are in the dentist chair, and they're getting whatever done, and you're going to be there for I did this at the orthodontist one time. It was like an hour and a half appointment, and I'm like sitting in the in the parent chair there by the thing, and just eyes shutting a little bit. Wake up, and your eyes shut a little bit. Then you realize somebody's talking to you. What? I've been guilty of that, folks. All part of the fun out there. So, I didn't, like I said, I didn't get to watch it, but what I did see, I didn't, I thought it was fine. Nothing stood out from that perspective. Folks, let's get out of here. Go have a good Wednesday night. I'll be back tomorrow, of course, 7 a.m. for McCollum on Business, 8 a.m. for the main event, of course, 8 to 10 with Uncle Lou coming in at 9 o'clock. And then, of course, Pit Stop will come out tomorrow afternoon as well. And then Friday off, and then Monday come back. Let's have some fun. Robert says they should have let Gallen pitch. Yeah, we could have seen some home runs and stuff, if that's the case. All-Star, I get you want to showcase your pitchers and hitters in an All-Star game, but you're also tuning in to see the hitters, right? Kind of there to see the hitters. You want to see some bombs. You want to see some big hits. You want to see some doubles and triples. All-Star game's over. Yeah. Tomorrow night, one game, though. I'll get you all updated for the weekend. World Cup noon today. I got England winning. Hopefully my pick's better than yesterday. Hopefully I don't know in the first 5 minutes that my pick is wrong like I did yesterday by picking France out there. Of course, tomorrow we'll talk a little bit about the championship game. Who's going to host that trophy? Spain. Spain. See you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great Wednesday night. I'm going to go out into the wild. See what happens. See you later, everybody.